Ladies and gentlemen, bots and cons, welcome back to Tech Talk, the officially unofficial Transformers TCG Podcast. We're here for part 2 of this week's episode. Last time we covered all of the battle cards, and this time we're going to go over the character cards from the most recent set of reveals. So let me resize this, because we have our character cards, which starts off with Private Red Alert. You sound thrilled by this guy. So let me say one thing to start. So it's Private Red Alert, and they always have like titles or subtitles or whatever underneath them. So he's Medical Medic.
He likes the
as opposed to I don't know. I had a few days ago, whenever this was released, I thought of a joke, and I'm like, I gotta remember this, but I guess I was on lunch break or something by the time I got home from work. It was like, I don't remember what it was, but I find it amusing, the redundancy. I don't know. It's just something silly. So he is obviously, he heals when he flips to his alt mode, but only one, as opposed to RC or Wave 1, one of the middle Optimus. And then he goes up to 7 attack if he kind of has the slipstream thing in bot mode, but I don't know. This guy feels very who cares.
He has decent health, right? Isn't that the issue?
He's 311-2 in alt and 311-1 in bot mode, and he's melee in both.
And he
costs 7.
Yeah, this guy's not going to see.
I don't know where the home is. It's another one in the line of they want you to play all of these diverse pip decks, and I don't think this is the guy that's going to make you do it.
No, I agree. I don't even think if he healed even more, he'd be playable. So.
I mean, it'd be nice, just because I do have this pipe dream of a medic deck that has a lot of heals, and it just grinds out your opponent that way, because it forces them to constantly invest new attacks, but I don't think that deck will ever exist by design. The team has been very cautious about defensive-oriented things and making sure that they don't cause games to drag out. Because the mirror for that would be atrocious.
I think we've also seen, and I'm not saying it's because of this, but I think the flip density thing is completely relevant in every single format.
Oh yeah,
and wasting quote unquote all these turns to get heal 1, it's just not.
Yeah, I completely agree there. Notably, so you have RC at 5, you have the other Optimus at 12, I think, and then 7, so you'd have 1 star left over. Maybe if there were a lot of rollout effects, but even then, you're waiting 3 turns to maybe do it. I don't know.
that Optimus. I don't even know which one you meant. Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah, he has bolt too. So in my head, the way this works out is you're primarily aggressive. You're mostly orange pip focused, if not all, and then you use the healing to buy an extra turn somewhere. But I don't think that ever really will work out. Like I said, I don't think the cards are going to be there to make that a thing.
Yeah, I agree.
So enough of our medical medic. We'll move on to Raider Detour, who is another member of the Sports Car Patrol.
There you go.
I will not stop laughing at these. I'm sorry, everybody, but these are just, it's hilarious to me. So, another stealth guy, notably 4 stars, and he is turn a blue pip card into Pep Talk. Now, traditionally, or previously rather, maybe not traditionally, you've said that you do not like Pep Talk. Do you like this guy?
Yes, because the reason I don't like Pep Talk is because essentially I look at card draw as treasure hunts, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to use your action to get to an upgrade or set yourself up for future turns. This does not cost you.
Yep.
So therefore, it's way more powerful.
I agree. It also is cool that we're getting more playable 4-star Decepticons that aren't Constructicons. I mean, we saw the green pip guys during our last show. We talked about them, but it's just another alternative for this. And maybe there's a Decepticon Cars build out there. I don't know.
This guy's very powerful. I think both the blue ones, unsurprisingly, are like I almost haven't seen both orange cards yet. Air quotes, we haven't seen both orange cards yet. Spoiler.
Yeah.
On the Micromaster side. But I can tell you that the blue ones are better than the orange ones.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the case.
I mean, these are two of the most played blue cards now on both of the Micromasters. So, like,
yeah,
to me, this is very powerful.
Yeah, I like this guy a lot. He definitely is exciting to try out because you can play, because he's 4, I don't know, mentally when it goes from 5 to 4 star cost wise, it just feels like I have a lot more room to play, or what options you have. Maybe it had, because I haven't actually put a lot of thought into this as to whether it really makes that much of a difference, but I feel like being able to play, say, an 11-10 or a 12-9 or something like that, and then squeeze this guy in.
This solves, for me, all the issues I have with card draw. So, that's big.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it gives you true use for like your handheld blasters out of hand as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to this guy. He's also a specialist, which is pretty cool.
Then yeah, this guy will definitely.
Yeah, he's going to show up at filling out a bunch of teams, and he's not. I don't think he's going to disappoint.
Yeah, he's good.
So moving from there, this is one of the ones that we were alluding to earlier, and that's Captain Elita 1. I just realized I forgot her title in the show note list.
Yeah, can't we just do Chromia first and leave her for?
Yeah, all right. We'll skip. We'll go to Chromia. So Chromia. Sorry, everybody. We'll come back to that one. So Sergeant Chromia. I don't even remember what she does. I got to reread her. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You take over from here.
I know when she defends and you flip 2 blue, you draw a card, and when you flip to alt mode, you can play a blue armor on her. I remember her stats.
4-12-1 and 3-12-1.
And she costs how much?
7.
Yeah, she's terrible.
I mean, that's a lot. Well, maybe not a lot of health. It's only 1 more than Barrage.
Right.
She's a specialist, which is a point in her favor, but I don't know. I guess why do I want her over, say, the 7-cost blue Battlemaster?
Because she's a car. That's about it. But I don't agree.
Yeah, yes, you are correct. And obviously, again, she's a specialist, so if you had reasons for that, but I don't think that you could find ways to get those things if you wanted it otherwise, I guess. Like you could do, your big character in your 3-wide team, the 7-star Battlemaster, and then a Stunticon if you really wanted the car. In fact, you could get car plus specialist also if you wanted it. I don't know.
I don't like her bot ability. Like, I don't think flipping 2 blue. And is it when she defends or when she attacks?
When this defends and you flip at least 2 blue.
Yeah. It's better than when she attacks, obviously, but it's the one defense that really hurts her. Like, she wants to be in a defensive deck, and only has 1 defense. So, like, it's... I can't see ever flipping her back to alt mode, ever. Other than through Start Your Engine. So, like, I just don't see where this is gonna see play, ever.
I mean, yeah... I don't know. The first thing that I thought of when I saw the flip back to alt was, again, the same thing we've been talking about for a number of spoilers is, can you or should you, is it even reasonable to overload your opponent's bashing shields? But you can't get the armor onto the same character, so if you're trying to ensure that one of the characters lives, they can just bashing shield that one,
I mean, Windblade and Megatron don't see play, allowing you to play extra cards. So, like, the only advantage she has is that she can actually play, what's it called? Field Communicator on her
Mhm.
which is
Well,
a card
Windblade
that's-
could, because she's a specialist. But
Windblade can, but like Chromie can play Field Communicator as well, so like there's some value there. I just don't see where playing the extra armor is ever going to be relevant. It's just too much pressure on your hand for a specific card type.
Mhm.
And I don't really think that drawing an extra card during defense on a one defense character is going to come into play enough where it's going to be relevant.
Yeah, I'm just not super excited. And as you said, even aside from the one defense, if I'm investing 7 stars, clearly you're playing her in a blue deck. She's not going to get much, if any, help from flips when she's on offense. So
right.
It just feels like you're going to have to do a lot of work to make her viable, and you could clearly choose other options and not have to work nearly as hard.
This is where if the blue-black cards were better, she's a perfect candidate for it. They're just not. So
yeah. Unless there's something waiting in the wings, we'll have to see. So I guess we'll circle back to Captain Alita 1, who, now that I think about it, so she actually had a prominent role in the comics. Like a pretty significant role for a lot of the storylines. I don't remember her ever seeing her alt mode in the comics. So, and I don't really remember her alt mode from the cartoon from way back when. Like
she was like a Cybertronian car, which is what she is here.
Right, but I don't remember if this is like exactly what it looked like is where I'm going with it, because I don't remember.
It was more boxy. The show was more boxy.
Well, that makes sense. But the card itself, take it away, Scott. You take the lead on this one.
This is like this continues the trend with the rest of the set where I think the rare characters are really good. So you want to read what she does, just so?
Oh yeah, sure. So we'll start with the alt mode. She's a leader. She's a car and specialist. 5-17-0. When you flip to this mode, move any number of damage counters from one of your other characters to this, but not enough to KO her. That's why earlier when we were discussing it, I was calling that out as a potential caveat, because we're seeing it here. But in her bot mode, she goes to 6-17-0, still a leader and specialist. When she's KO'd, scrap the top card of your deck. You may play it. Then scrap another card from the top of your deck. You may play it. So you get the leap of faith.
So she's a fixed version of a card that is abusable in Sludge, and a really good version of Leap of Faith. Yeah.
That's kind of sums it up. Oh, she's 12 stars, by the way. I didn't mention that. She's 12 stars. So go ahead.
It's awesome that she can be played with Optimus in the 25 card star deck. Like the good Optimus.
Yeah.
She has 17 health for a reason, because you want to use the heal ability. Her heal is not abusable with I Still Function like the way Sludge is. However, her Leap of Faith ability is.
Yes.
It's 12 stars may just be too much for what you get out of her, because you obviously you want the other cards aren't going to go under her.
Right.
So it becomes like, is she the centerpiece of the deck, or is she the helper piece of the deck? And
at 12 stars, it's tough to say she's the helper. Just because she's the only time is, as you said, with Battlefield Legend, which I don't know if this is the best option. I mean,
I probably.
It's certainly worth investigating. I'm not saying, oh no, we're going to stick with what we already have, but it's so in a blue deck, she's probably going to eat 3 attacks. I don't know if she could make it to 4. Probably not.
I mean,
I think that's asking a lot. 3 may be asking too much, even in a blue deck, just because of the 0 defense.
She's really good with, what is it, Bravery, I guess, right? That card, and that's blue, right?
The stealth one?
Yeah.
No,
the one that gives you Brave.
Oh, the one that actually gives you Brave. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one's blue.
I think you have to play her as basically like, I'm going to get a 6 attack guy, and then I'm going to leave it. And then if it's convenient, I'm going to heal a bunch of damage off my other guys. And I think the Leap of Faith thing is powerful enough for your other, probably two guys, she just can't, she can't be the centerpiece. So the question is, what does 12 get you that 13 doesn't? Unless you just play her, like we said, in too tall. And the problem with playing her too tall is basically you'd want her to die right away, and I don't think you can just lose 12 stars immediately.
I don't know if you. In too tall, I don't know if you want her to die right away. It's just that it gives you the ability that losing literally half your team is not game over. Now you probably, maybe not probably. I don't know if you would do the whole I still function plan there.
Oh, you would. I think there's no reason not to always run her with I still function, because you're going to get some advantage off of her dying no matter when she dies.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just turning I still function into Leap of Faith, that's an advantage right there. And you're getting an attack out of it. Yes, you're not getting a defender out of the deal, but you're getting an attack out of the deal.
That's fair.
So I think regardless, she's going to be run with I still function. Any deck that runs her is 3 I still functions regardless, because you just turn your I still functions into Leap. So that being said, it comes down to what are you getting with the other 13 stars available, and that's where I think there's options, and that's where, to me, either of her abilities are going to come into play. I think you look at it I'm getting this 6, 17, 0 character, and what is that getting for me? And it's probably you're getting a lot out of the deal.
It's getting you 2/3 of a turn. I guess technically half a turn if you count flipping a character, because of the leap.
But it's all at once though, and she still gets her. You're getting that extra. You're getting that extra.
Yeah, exactly. Again, assuming, because we've had this conversation offline before about how leap there's obviously non-zero, but I can't tell you off the top of my head percentage-wise how many games where you play leap and you just go, oh, it's 2 handheld blasters. Well, great. As opposed to leap and you're
not many.
Well, as compared to leaping and then doing 2 actually relevant things.
And she can also technically, you can one shall stand her, or all those negative effect things that you can do to her. You can use this new Decepticon card and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a new example. You can piece or tyranny her and get her ability right away when you want to. You lose her 6 attack out of that, so I don't know how often you're going to want to do that, but you would gain her Leap of Faith right away, and you can even I still function her immediately also if you had some way of playing extra actions, or she flipped I still function because you arranged it somehow. So that's where I think she can do very powerful things if you set it up correctly, to where you can have some insane turns with her, which I think are not out of the realm of possibility, and you're not actually losing much out of it.
Yeah.
So
I think because of her 6 attack, that's what personally sells me more on her. So we've brought up other characters both on this show and previously where, as you said, they're higher star cost helpers essentially. But the problem is when you're investing that many stars in a helper character, you end up just not advancing your game plan enough. She can continue to hit hard enough and punch the other guys hard enough that you don't have to worry about handicapping that portion of your turn. And that's despite the fact that she has 0 health because she has, 0 defense because she has a gazillion health. Your opponent's going to have to work very hard to not have to invest 3 attacks into this.
And even when they do, if it's early, you're still gaining an advantage. Your other characters are definitely going to get buffed.
It's going to make up, because of her effect, it's going to make up for the potential loss.
The problem with her is if she dies on your opponent's turn and you play a lot of combat actions, they have no effect.
Yes, that is a...
So you have to be... I don't want to say you have to slant your deck to have more upgrades, but you would obviously prefer if they were playable upgrades that would go on to other characters.
Mm. That does punch a hole in the Battlefield Legend plan, simply because obviously he wants not necessarily combat buffs, but he's certainly not unhappy about them. But the upgrades specifically don't help him, but do help her.
Unless it's direct damage, and then it doesn't matter.
Right, but I guess There is an upper limit.
You just have to change. You just have to change your deck.
Yeah,
that's all.
Absolutely. But that's going to be the hard part, is trying to find that happy balance. I know in playing around with Optimus lists myself, I get very excited about, oh, well, I'm going to run all these cards, and then I look at it and it's like, oh, well, it's 20 or 30 upgrades, and I'm sacrificing all the whole purpose for running Optimus. And I can see that very easily, because it's, oh, well, I'll run Elita and Optimus, and then I'll include field communicators, and then I want, Energon axes, and I want this armor, and then I want this thing, and then all of a sudden, again, you're at 27 to 32 upgrades.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to, I guess, where does 17 health equal defense? Like, she equal to a 14 health one defense guy? Like, that's the question. And I think the numbers probably look a little more even, and it's more typical, I guess you could say. And she just basically has an ability when she dies, which is the way I would look at it.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if you play to that ability, like you can, like I said, through purposeful abilities, or do you just, oh, by the way, she died, she was a 6 attacker, she did stop a bunch of attacks, and she helped my other guys on the way out, and that to me is powerful. So.
Right. No, that's completely reasonable, and I think we're going to end up seeing a lot of Elita 1, because she, if nothing else, she's certainly splashy, even if it turns out that it doesn't behoove anyone to invest all the effort to make her work. I expect to see her at least for the initial few weeks, just because the effect is really cool. It does something unique, and the stats on her feel crazy.
And just to bring it, this was our original conversation about Waylay in Magic.
Yes, yeah, it comes full circle. It's definitely a unique effect, and I'm very curious to see how it ends up being. Whether it is ultimately just the, I guess, the power couple, or whether it's just she becomes simultaneously the focal point as well as the helper character for other 3-wide builds, or whatever the case is.
That's probably where I would see it seeing play, and then the question is similar to the way 3-wide Optimus builds are, does the extra star gain you anything of value? Like, she could get a 4-cost character and a Wheeljack, for example, and you'd still have a very good attacker as your secondary character. You can't get a 10 drop or above and her without being 2-character list. So it's 9 would be the sweet spot, or 8 versus a 7 and a 5. You get 8 and a 5, or you get a 9 and a 4 type.
I mean, yeah, if you went orange, whether it's Wheeljack or Barrage plus other filler character, the 17 health could carry you far enough that it's still reasonable, and I think that's another acceptable way to try and explore it.
And again, most importantly, the advantage when she dies, which other characters can't say. So,
yeah, sort of a not quite Battle Master.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was something that I was thinking earlier before we started recording, and I'm glad you brought it up, because that could be an interesting way to do it, because as you said, upgrades are a thing that she's going to want to do. So it's okay, she dies on the wheel turn, load up my other character or other characters with 2 upgrades, and then go to town. It might be a thing. So, well, that, again, unless I missed any of them, that will do it for the spoilers for this episode. Anything you wanted to call out, Scott? Any other shout-outs or things coming up that you want to make sure that everybody's aware of?
Just look for big announcements from us, which may have already been live by the time this sees play, sees active play out in the community. So I'm sure there's a lot going on. So just always keep track of our Facebook page and our Twitter for up to the minute updates. But there's obviously going to be a lot of content that's out there otherwise that we'll be able to go into. So
absolutely. So everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please tune in next time for more Random's Thoughts.